Welcome to the Coparenting Chronicles. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Jenna.
And this is a podcast about something we didn't exactly plan on becoming experts in,
but definitely learned the hard way, co-parenting.
We're not therapists. We're not lawyers. Well, Jenna actually is, but we'll get to that later. We definitely don't have it all figured out.
What we are is two parents who decided that even though our relationship isn't common, our commitment to raising healthy and happy kids is.
We'll talk about growth and boundaries, respect, and what it actually looks like to build a functional co-parenting relationship, even when it's hard.
Some episodes will be just us, having honest conversations we wish we'd heard earlier.
And others may include experts, real-life stories, our partners, and practical tools that you can actually use.
Whether you're newly separated, years into co-parenting, or supporting someone who is, this space is for you.
Because
All right. Cheers, Jenna.
Cheers.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 2. I am so excited. I felt like everything went great for our first episode. So thanks for bearing with us as we work out all the kinks.
Very new to this
Yeah.
whole world of podcasting, editing,
Hiding in our closet.
content creating. And so thank you for bearing with us. And hopefully you'll keep coming back and continue to watch us grow.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to start with kind of just like an intro segment. We haven't really named it yet. So name TBD, but we want to kind of go through some of the comments and people who wrote in asking for advice or asking for our opinions. And we want to start every episode just kind of going through some of these comments. So we're going to start that off.
Yeah. From awkward to allies for some, not all. So one of the questions that I got said, where does Jay's father fit and V's mother? Are they part of the co-parenting diagram too? And do they have other children as well?
Okay. So for reference, I made kind of like a funny video just explaining our crazy blended family dynamic because I don't think obviously not a lot of viewers know us yet, but I don't think that people realize that not only are Jenna and I both biological mothers, we both have our own children, but we also are both stepmoms. So that gives us a really unique advantage to being able to give advice in these kind of situations because not only do I know what it's like to mother my own children, I know what it's like to be a stepmom and those battles, and Jenna does as well. So to answer that comment, we have very good co-parenting relationships with those other co-parents for V and J's parents as well. I wouldn't say that we're best friends like Jenna and I are, but that's okay too. We're not expecting you to listen to our podcast and then go off and be like, now I have to be best friends. Like we understand and appreciate that that's not everybody's situation and that we are very lucky to have what we have.
Yeah, and you can just have a mutual respect for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we have with our other co-parents as well. It's just a mutual respect. We co-parent well. I mean, we don't take vacations together like Jenna and I do, but it's still a very civil co-parenting relationship. So one of the comments that I have, Jenna, is what is your advice for a bio mom when the stepmom is telling the kids that they're hers when visiting their dad, or one who won't let the child talk to their mom, or the one who talks badly about their mother in front of them? I'm trying to navigate this in the kindest way, but dealing with a petty stepmom situation only has been in our lives for 1 year.
Yeah, so I think that like this is a loaded question. So the one that stands out to me the most is talking badly about each other or talking badly about other co-parents while they're at dad's house versus mom's house. I think that it's really important that we don't talk badly about parents in front of the children, whether that, be even me and my partner. We don't talk badly about each other in front of our children or to our children, because that isn't something that our children should have to take on.
100%.
I'm just thinking about this now, but like, I know that was like a big thing for you, child, growing up.
Yeah.
And your parents were divorced. Like you couldn't stand it when, your mom would speak poorly of your father or whatever the situation was. It's like you remember that even now into your mid 30s. So,
but also I think it's also because I think as a child we have to understand that their psyche is only able to interpret love at that point. And so when you are talking badly about a co-parent that is supposed to love that child, how do you think that makes that child feel? And I think it's just very manipulative. And I'm so grateful that we don't do that in our houses. Like we do not talk badly about any of our co-parents. I think that if there are qualms that we might have, we either work that out in our communication outside of and away from the children, or we know that someday our kids are going to grow up and they're going to form their own opinions and they're going to be aware of that stuff. We don't have to tell them.
Exactly. Yeah, they're gonna figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's like a really, it's just one of those things where I understand that we have a unique situation. So like we don't typically have a reason to even speak poorly of one another, even when the kids aren't present. But we also understand that not everybody has that, right? To where it's like, oh, somebody did something that's just so upsetting and it's, the kids are around and you're just angry or pissed off. And like, so obviously it's very difficult,
Right.
sometimes to control those emotions when somebody's done something that is absolutely ridiculous.
We want to keep everyone's privacy, but our heart goes out to you because that's a very difficult situation to navigate. So I think that you should just stick to your guns and make sure that you are doing what's right in your house and that your kids are going to grow up and they're going to trust
Right.
you more because you're not the one talking ill about their parent, somebody who should be loving them. So
The next one is the topic on trading days. So for context, we posted, it was kind of a funny,
A TikTok.
sarcastic TikTok, and we got a lot of comments. Chelsea fooled a lot of people at first, and it ended up being, the majority of our followers ended up, liking it, but didn't think they would at first. And a lot of people commented about trading days or not on my days. And this is one of the comments that we got. I've always hated my days, end quote, versus your days, end quote. Kids do much better when that kind of schedule disappears and they are loved by everyone. Good job, mom, for realizing that and not forcing your kids to choose.
Yeah, I just I wanted to share that comment because I 100% agree with that other mom. And another person said it's not his days or her days, it's their days, speaking of the children. And that was just it was so well put because it's so true. Like these are their days. This is their childhood. This is their experience. We
Right.
should be doing everything in our power to make sure that they can have those and be with people who love them. And a lot of the comments, but were kind of on the other side that were like, that would be fine, but make sure that you're trading days. And we do that sometimes. Like let's, you're on a vacation for 7 days. It's not because those were on my days. It's because I want to lighten the load.
Yes.
Like I know that
Exactly.
we just took them for 7 days while you guys were on vacation. So now you guys are going to take them for a few of our days just to
Right.
like be kind to the other
Yeah.
parent. Like because
Right.
we're always
Right. No matter
parenting.
what.
Exactly.
The big thing too is like if we do end up like, oh, we'll just trade days or whatever, it's usually more so like during the week, like to try to stay consistent, like with the
Yes.
kids' schedules, like for
For
school.
school and lessons.
Like, yeah, exactly. So it'll be like, oh, well, yeah, you had them Monday, Tuesday. So if you want to just take them Wednesday, Thursday, because so we'll sometimes like swap every once in a while. And I feel like that's usually, but like we don't make up. If I take
No,
the
but
girls
it's
up
like
north for the weekend, we don't like make up those days.
no, we're not like
Like,
keeping score. It's because we're just trying to lighten the load out of respect and
right.
appreciation for you as co-parents. But
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this person specifically said, "That's nice to do and sounds lovely, but not on my capital my days. Go on dad's days."
okay.
And like, well, here's the thing. Chelsea's days are the weekends. Like she has the girls Thursday through Sunday mornings. And
Hmm.
we can't take the kids, out of school I mean, every once in a while we can, but like we're not gonna take the kids out of school to go up north once a month. Like,
Right.
Chelsea understands that and realizes that and, has no issue with us taking the girls to go have fun on a weekend trip. So we don't trade off every other weekend or anything like that, which I realize is probably maybe more normal or maybe like some parents have the kids only on weekends
Right.
and, another parent has them for the school week or
Right.
whatever. I mean, I'm sure that there are a million different ways to share custody of your children. So
So this next one, Jenna says, that's great, but not every stepmom has good intentions. That needs to be factored in with some of us too. It's a case by case type scenario, which obviously I agree with. I think Jenna and I are here just to share our experience and to hope that it helps or encourages people who are having a hard time navigating co-parenting, but also, maybe inspiring you to try to bridge that gap with a relationship. So, Jenna, how would you say that first? So, it needs to be factored in with some of us too. It's a case by case type scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think this goes for stepmoms and biological moms, right? Because, like, there are some situations where maybe it's the dad and stepmom that are doing most of the raising because maybe the biological mom, has her own issues. And, so it's not like just a stepmom or a stepmom issue, I
Sure.
feel.
I
But it
agree.
probably is more common, right? It's much more common for a stepmom to show up and come in and maybe she doesn't love your children, right? Like we
Right.
are kind of taught this from a young age, like evil, wicked stepmother, right? Like what Chelsea and I, you know, I've been trying to relay is like, if your kids are loved and they're cared for and they're safe with that other person, so, in this situation, the stepmom, then you should allow your kids to be with that person and, freak out or say that they're overstepping or I don't know. It just feels like,
I feel like if it feels like you're
like,
taking something away from your child
yeah, like you're
by
taking
stopping someone from loving them to be with
yeah,
them.
love away from, you're taking love away from your children and they aren't able to, grasp that
Right.
at I mean, when are their brains, their frontal lobes aren't even fully developed
Not
when they're
until they're
18. They're still
yeah,
children,
right.
really. Like, I mean,
But I think, I like a lot of these people who are
right,
complaining and have a negative thing to say about me and Jenna's relationship, I don't think that they're willing to put your
right.
relationship ended and you have children that are a byproduct of that relationship. But now that that relationship has ended, it's not about you and that ex anymore. It's about your children and giving them the best opportunity of a childhood that you can give them. So put your shit aside.
It's not about, and we're gonna touch we have like so many more
Oh,
episodes lined
yes.
up. Like I understand that like infidelity was a really big one.
Yeah,
And that makes it really difficult, especially when that stepmom is the person that, your ex was,
correct.
unfaithful with. Like
Correct.
we totally understand that there are these, just really horrible things that have happened to so many women. And it's very, very difficult for anybody in that situation to just like, get over it. Like you're not
Mhm.
just going to get over it, right? But I think the most important message is that if that person, if your ex is a good father or a good mother, because we're not just here
Mhm.
to speak to women, like if your ex
Yeah.
is a good person who loves their children and they have moved on with somebody else who also loves your children and cares for your children and treats them as, their own, then you should allow that and you should be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Um,
Because a lot of people don't have that.
yeah. And I mean, to have four parents or three parents who love your children, I mean, it's only going to benefit. Hi. Well, we had a technical difficulty with our last recording and we only got audio for 15 minutes instead of the full 45. So that's why we look different.
Yeah. And if you hear a bunch of children screaming in the background, welcome to our life. This is why we're hiding in the closet.
Okay, so on our the last section, we got through like talking about the four comments,
Yep.
and I think we wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about our unique story, how we met, and that awkward first interaction, where you dropped the girls off to see Andy, and I had to like hide in the bathroom because I was so embarrassed. I didn't want Chelsea to like be like, who is this person that is going to be around my children? Because I know that people, and this is before I had kids of my own, so I know that people are very skeptical about just letting their kids meet any new partner that comes into their children's lives.
Which they
So
should be.
yeah, exactly, for good
I
reason,
feel like
which
that
is
was
why
fair.
I was trying to be like, I'm
You
gonna go hide in the bathroom. I was so
you
embarrassed.
definitely didn't need to be hiding. Adds to the story now. So
And yeah, yeah. And Andy was like, "Oh, yep, this is who I'm seeing." And coming from a big small town. Chelsea and I have kind of run in the same circles over the years, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of mutual friends, and so we've known of each other. We've seen each other out before, but we never actually, like, spoke or
Right.
spent any time
Well, and you're also
together.
my best friend's cousin.
Exactly.
So
Yep,
really big small town.
exactly. I think that at that time, Andy had just gotten out of a relationship that wasn't the best. So it was a really awkward, fragile time because Chelsea and Andy didn't always have a great co-parenting relationship. And then Ava had just gotten diagnosed with an illness. And, a month later, here I am. And everything kind of progressed really quickly from there to where it was like, okay, a little bit awkward where we're like, hi, and we're seeing each other. And it's like we're able to have normal conversations. But
Right.
I think that then Andy and I bought this house. We moved in. The girls had a room. Like it moved very quickly within,
Mhm.
2-3 months. And
Well, I remember even like I didn't bring this up the last time we tried to record, but it did just come up to me that I remember asking Andy being like, please don't introduce anybody into the girls' lives anymore unless like this person is going to stay around.
right,
And, and he had told me, he was like, no, this is different. Like he kind of just knew.
right.
And like him saying that to me, I had never heard him say that prior. And so I think that gave me that confidence that I needed. Like you said, it wasn't shortly after that we were like, trading hospital shifts.
Yeah, exactly. It
Yeah,
was
definitely moved quickly in our relationship as well.
Yep, definitely everything just kind of progressed. We were doing things together. But we had our first family vacation in May that following year, 9 months later, essentially,
Mhm.
right? Like, so we were already doing things as a family
Mhm.
pretty quickly, which might not be the case for most people, but it was for
Yeah,
us. I think,
and we made it through.
yeah, we did. We did. And, like, I'm really glad that I stuck it out with Andy because years ago when we had dated for a brief moment in time, like, I ended up ghosting him and I went to law school and I was like, oh, he kind of gave me the creeps. He was like weirdly obsessive and I was 24 and just at that stage in my life where I was like, I don't want this, And I'm really glad that when I came back and I saw him as a father, that really changed the perspective for me. But also like looking at Chelsea and being like, oh well, she's hot. She's, like, really cool. She's hot, she's cool, and, like, a normal person, so
Thank
if,
you,
like, she
Jenna.
could have 2 children with this man, like, he really can't be that like, it's true, it's true, and I think that's one of those things, like, that happens where you see really hot chicks with, like, mediocre guys all the time, right? And it's like, "Oh my god, this guy has dated a lot of hot girls." And it's like, "How does he get that?" And it's because I feel like there's, like, some psychology behind it where girls are like, "Oh, well, he dated her before. She's good looking."
We'll have to look into this. We need to bring a psychologist on the pod.
Yeah, and see if that's, like, actually true, but it was definitely a thought. I was like, "He can't be that bad because Chelsea's totally normal and she's really cool." So, she was almost like a part of that decision, like, "Oh, yes, okay, if she could do this, so can I." And I'm glad that I did. But, yeah, I mean, if we wanna move on to kind of talking about, like,
Yeah,
how we
I
support each other.
I wanted to ask you that. I wanted like how I guess do I support you as a co-parent and a step parent, or are there things that I could be doing better?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I think that you support obviously in so many ways. Like anytime that anybody is sick, Chelsea's always like, "What can I do for you? Do you need anything?" And I think that that's like really important. But then also, I struggle a lot with like my body image and just like myself in general. Chelsea's always hyping me up and making me feel better about myself and always just cheering me on, which I think is a really big part of why we also get along is that like we are some people might be like jealous of other people's success and like small things in life that happen, but we're not at all. Like we're always
No.
cheering each other on, like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Like Chelsea owns her own hair salon and does all these really amazing things with downtown Kenosha, and like I'm just always so proud of her. But yeah, she's a really big cheerleader, and um that's really important to me.
I love that. I love you.
I love you too.
Got me crying over here. So how do you think that our kids benefit from this relationship? Because we had touched on this earlier. Like, we don't expect people to listen to our podcast and be like, you know what? I'm gonna book a trip to Fiji with my co-parent. Like,
Right.
we understand that like our relationship isn't normal.
Yeah.
But how do you think our children benefit
Yeah, I
from
mean, I
that?
think this, like, our healthy co-parenting dynamic, it gives them, the space to grow into like well-rounded little humans, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like they're learning what respect, teamwork, and acceptance looks like.
Yeah.
Not all families are traditional cookie cutter families, right? And I think that that's really important for kids at their age
Mm.
to be able to see and to learn that like we do work hard. It requires teamwork. We
Yeah.
have to communicate with each other constantly in order to make sure that they have the most consistent life that they can because
Sure.
it is difficult no matter what, no matter how consistent, no matter how well you get along. It is still difficult being in between two homes,
Mhm.
right? I mean, it's like the forgotten homework, the clothes that they want to wear that they don't have.
Yeah.
Like it's gym day and I don't have gym shoes. I
Mhm.
only have sandals or,
Yeah.
like there are just like things like that that are, yeah, they're minuscule in the grand scheme of things,
Mhm.
but it's still a lot on a child, and
Right.
I feel like now, like it's starting to get a little bit progressively like more and more it's going to happen, right? Because especially when they're like preteens, they're going to be like, oh, I cannot go to school without this specific thing. I feel like they're going to get more and more like, particular about certain things. I mean, I know what I was like when I was a kid. Wanted to,
Can't you just imagine how hard it would be if like I couldn't be like, "Oh, hey, Cora left her gym shoes." Like,
right,
and I couldn't just
exactly.
pop over in the morning or like shoot you a text and do that.
Yeah,
Like,
well, you don't even have to do that.
or
Like
like,
they have the code, so they
yeah.
usually just walk in if we don't respond, which is perfectly
Right.
fine if
Or
I'm
I'm just parents
nice.
who have to like go through like one of those like apps to communicate because it's like a
Right.
toxic relationship. And we feel for you. Like, we understand that
Yes.
not every situation, like certain
Right.
marriages or relationships, they did have something traumatic happen as to why there is a split up, so
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we appreciate and respect that and
Yeah.
understand that that's not our case and we're grateful for that.
Yeah,
But
we're
I'm
very
just
lucky. We know that we're very
yeah,
lucky and that not everybody can have what we have, right? Like
right.
it's just something that we, another reason why we started this podcast to maybe give advice and help those who are in the position to where they maybe could go from high conflict to,
Hmm.
even just a mutual respect and, be able to have just very basic communication without having those high conflict situations,
Right.
right? Or without an argument. So
Yeah.
I think that's like just
What would you give for advice to somebody who wanted to like start? Maybe not, like I said, we're not expecting you to book a flight to Fiji, but like I feel like a lot of the comments or people that have been writing into us looking for advice, like
yeah.
they want to kind of bridge that gap and start to have that relationship. So like, how would you recommend
I
doing
would
that?
say just be patient with
Mhm.
yourselves. Like this, it's not going to happen overnight, right? Like we just know that it's
Mhm.
not. It's going to take time. I think the biggest key is that, like, if everyone involved genuinely loves and cares about your child, your ex, the step, whatever it might be, stepmom, stepdad, their partner, just their boyfriend, girlfriend, I think that's the most important thing that if they love and care about that person is your child is safe with that person and they're taken care of and they're secure, then it is the biggest indicator that you should allow them to, have a good relationship with your ex and
Mhm.
their partner. But also, that's a safe space to then maybe extend the olive branch,
Mhm.
right? To start small. Maybe that other parent isn't willing just yet. But like if you extend the olive branch, like, hey, maybe let's go grab a coffee, do something without the kids.
I think that's
Just to try
huge.
to get to know each other on a personal level, know a little bit about their background, where they come from, what kind of childhood they had. Because sometimes, like a lot of people who had a really shitty childhood want to have the most love to give
Mhm.
to their children, right? Whether that be their stepchildren or biological children, it doesn't matter.
I think for us though, I mean, that was really when, I mean, because we didn't start like getting close until what would you say? Like after, I mean, we were always good
we're always,
co-parents, but like, I mean, I would say what after River was born?
yeah, I would say, yeah, because obviously I didn't do jack shit when I was pregnant. Like we went on vacations and did
Yeah, we
family
were
stuff.
always
We're
little.
always together. But right after I had River, like that fall, I feel
Yeah.
like when it was like our birthdays, because we're both October babies, Libras. Shout
Yay,
out to
Libra
Libras.
season.
I
Another reason why
feel
we
that
get
was
along so well.
yeah, exactly. I feel like that was when, I was like, okay, like, because River was born in June. So those couple of months went by and I was like feeling better. We ended up doing more stuff together, the two of us,
Yeah,
and going
right.
out
Exactly.
and
Like
just
it
like,
was like, let's grab a drink. Let's grab a
we weren't
cocktail.
having just coffee. We were going out for like drinks and actually having a really fun time. Because we swim in the same circles, right? So
Yeah.
we would go out together and like
Know a lot of the same
yeah,
people.
we like going to the same bars,
Same
like
shows. Well, I don't know. Some of the shows that you take me to are pretty scary. There's a lot of screaming
punk
and
rock shows.
metal dancing.
Oh my God, Blackout Wednesday 2024. Chelsea and I actually went out. Andy's birthday is November 28th. So his birthday in 2024 fell on Thanksgiving Day. So Andy actually went out with just me and Chelsea, on Blackout Wednesday. So the three of us went to this punk rock show, and then we ended up at our favorite dive bar, Patios.
Shout out
But
patios.
yeah, he was like, God, I have to spend my birthday with you two. We're like, yep.
You know what? And then it's like the swinger rumors make sense.
Yes.
When you say stuff like that
Yes.
out loud,
Well,
I'm like, when you play right into it, Jenna. Damn it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, really, he went off and did his own thing, and we were actually spending time together, so it was fine.
I think that you had said something recently, which I think just makes so much sense to me. It's like when you can build that co-parenting bond and create this like relationship with someone who can be an ally to you, not only a friend, but an ally, because we're able to vent to each other about struggle. Like parenting is hard. Like there
Right.
is not a guideline, a rule book, and so it's like, it's really
Yes.
nice that like, I'm just so blessed that I have 4 sets of hands that can help me raise my children between my partner and my 2 co-parents. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for that. I
It's
don't I
also
don't know
really
how we would do
nice.
it. Like, we're able to have, like, balance in our personal lives and our friendships and things like that in our work life
Right.
because we have so much help, like, between all of us. And so
Yeah.
I would invite everyone out there who doesn't have that, like Jenna said, to extend that olive branch, go get a cup of coffee because it really is just so, so beneficial to our children and nice for us to just have someone I can
Yeah.
vent to that gets it because you're
Yes.
literally raising the same children that I am.
Exactly. Yeah, it is really nice. And I mean financially too.
Oh my God.
It's like a major difference.
Yeah.
If you could, I mean, we had to
Yeah.
support the 2 girls just on our own plus with our other
Mhm.
children.
It's expensive. I mean, we're able to, split
It's
things
hard out here
50-50
in this
and
economy.
oh my gosh, seriously. Ava asked if she could do some like special like pop-up like dance class with her friend and I was like, you have to ask Daddy if Mommy's broke this week. So sorry. Ask Daddy and Jenna.
Yeah, yeah. See, like, and that's nice because we can share that. Like
Share that
Chelsea
load,
will
yeah.
pay for the girls to be in gymnastics, and I pay for their swim
Mhm.
lessons. And we do what we can. We do what we can to share that financial burden as well, which is also very helpful. Which then in turn helps mentally, right? Like
Mhm.
everybody feels good when they feel financially stable. So
Definitely. All
but
right.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode, right?
I
I think we
know.
kind of touched on all of the same stuff that we touched on in our last recording that didn't work. And we'll just kind of leave you with what we're going to be discussing next week. So, episode 3 is going to be when the unthinkable happens. So, co parenting through a tragedy, right?
Yeah.
So co-parenting through a tragedy. So in our case, it was childhood cancer. And we're just going to kind of be taking you through that route on how things progressed
Mhm.
and the difficulties that we faced.
The boundaries we have set.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
boundaries for all of us. I mean, and Chelsea's husband, Babe, as well. And so we'll be talking more about him next episode too,
Mhm.
which, we need to make sure that we're introducing all of our 87 family members.
Seriously.
So yeah, we'll be talking more about him and just the role that the 2 step parents played in Ava's cancer diagnosis. So
Yeah, a little bit of a
we'll
heavier
be
topic, but I feel like it definitely is important for
yeah.
our listeners and to understand like how we got here. And I don't, I never thought that I would hear myself saying that I was grateful for cancer. And I still wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, what we had to go through, but
Right.
it really did bring us closer together.
Yeah.
And it completely changed the dynamic of me and Andy's co-parenting relationship. Because like
Yeah.
you had said previously, it wasn't good,
Right.
before
And I
she got
think
sick.
that's the
So
thing with tragedy, right? Where it can either, unfortunately, tear people apart or bring them closer together. And luckily for us, it really did bring us closer together. We're extremely grateful for that. Not the cancer, but just grateful that this tragedy was able to, solidify this bond between our two families rather than draw us
Separate
further
us.
apart. And we'll obviously be relating it to not just our scenario, just
Tragedy in
Just-
general. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate the podcast. If you have stories or topics that you'd love for us to cover, email us. We would love to hear from you as well. And
Yeah.
until next week.
All right. Love you. Bye.